Okay, this is another little thing that I think our government here in Canada should do to help protect us further from any foreign tariffs. And I think it's something that we should have done a long time ago. It's a new tax called FMAT, and it protects us, the people, and our businesses from foreign tariffs and that, and also brings in revenue to our country directly and it doesn't come out of the consumer's pocket, it doesn't come out of the business's pocket, it comes out of the exporter's pocket. Okay, whoever's exporting into Canada is going to be the ones responsible to pay this tax, and we can legally do this under the WTO and also the USMCA policies. We can legally do this using emergency, like saying, hey, this is an economic emergency and we have to do this to defend our economic situation. So we can legally do this. The tax is called FMAT, okay? And what it is, it's the Fair Market Adjustment Tax, okay? The Fair Market Adjustments Tax, FMAT, would be a pre-sales tax imposed on foreign manufacturers, exporters, before they can sell goods in Canada. This tax is designed to ensure that imported products meet Canadian economic, environmental, and labor standards while protecting domestic industries from unfair competition. How FMAT works. Who pays the tax? The tax is applied directly to the foreign manufacturer, exporter before their goods can enter Canada. Canadian importers and consumers do not pay this tax. The manufacturer, exporter must pay the tax before shipment approval for entry into Canada. How this tax is collected. Registration required. Any foreign company wishing to sell goods in Canada must register with the Canadian Revenue Agency, CRA, and pay the tax before it gets across the border. Tax payment before export. Before goods can be shipped into Canada, the manufacturer must submit a fair market adjustment tax form and pay the required amount based on the product type. Customs verification. Canadian Customs will verify tax compliance at the border before goods are allowed entry. How the tax is calculated, okay? We're going to go over this. The FMAT would be based on a specific criteria. Economic security, 5%. If the product is heavily imported but could be produced in Canada, for example, steel, electronics, and lumber, 25% right off the bat. Environmental standards, 3 to 10%. If the manufacturing process does not meet Canadian climate or pollution regulations, there's a 3 to 10% on right there. Labor and fair trade, 2 to 8%. If the exporting country allows low wages, child labor, or poor working conditions, we're gonna slap another tax. So if China's robbing their people, they're gonna pay a little bit extra on that. Reciprocal trade tax. This is going to be variable. It's going to fluctuate depending on the nation and depending on the product. If the exporting country has imposed tariffs or taxes on Canadian goods, then we're going to reciprocate that back onto the company. So if a country has put 25% tariffs on a product that Canada's exporting, if they want to sell that product back to us and they want us to buy their product, we're going to hit them with the exact same amount that tariff is. So if a company, say in China, US, or EU, has a 25% tariff on a product that we sell to them, but they want to sell to us, that manufacturer is going to have to pay 25% in tax to Canada before they can export it, before they can even sell it to to a Canadian buyer. That manufacturer must pay that tax. Okay? So there you go. There's a little example. What happens if the manufacturer refuses to pay? Their goods will be denied entry into Canada. Boom. Just not coming in. Repeat violations will result in bans on future exports or higher tax rates for their products. Canadian importers will be notified if a manufacturer is non-compliant, so they will seek alternative suppliers. Why the FMAT is legal and justifiable? It's not a tariff. This is a business tax on manufacturers, not a duty on imported goods. Follows the U.S. President Trump's 25% tariffs were justified under the economic security of Canada. So we can use the same argument. We are imposing this tax under our economic security, same way that Trump did. It's an emergency economic security issue. Encourages fair trade, similar to the EU's carbon border adjustment tax, CBAM, which taxes imports based on environmental impact. It protects our jobs here in Canada. It protects our economy. Okay, the Fair Market Adjustment Tax, FMAT, would be a mandatory pre-sale tax on foreign manufacturers exporting to Canada. The tax would be based on economic, environmental, and labor factors, ensuring that imported goods meet Canadian standards by shifting the cost to foreign businesses rather than Canadian buyers. The FMAT strengthens Canada's economy while remaining compliant with international trade laws. Would you like to see something like this imposed? Is there a Canadian leader out there willing to take time to listen to my plans, or do I need to run for Prime Minister?